This is Joe Delio with the Live Community bringing you a new video tutorial about how to use external dynamic lists, presented by Ryan Pere, Systems Engineer SLED.
Hey everybody, this is Ryan with Palo Alto Networks. In this video I'm going to be talking about the external dynamic list feature with Palo Alto Networks NGFW, how to use it, how to implement policies, what the lists are used for, and a few tips and tricks as well for some more advanced use cases and some scripting. So thanks for watching, and I hope you find it useful. So simply put, what is an EDL or external dynamic list, and how is it useful? An external dynamic list is just a simple address object. It's either a list of IP addresses, URLs, or domains. As you can see, if we try to add one here, we get three different options. And we also have predefined lists here, and we can add exceptions. You see the entries here. So we just have a bunch of IP addresses in an object. These addresses update every few minutes to pull new addresses and kick out the ones that are no longer pertinent. So I can create custom ones aside from these three built-in ones that we at Palo Alto Networks provide out of the box to respond to different unique attacks or different unique things and threat feeds. So as you can see in my policy, I have static objects here, just the IP addresses defined. So that's your traditional approach. You just use static addresses. Well, NGFW, such as the Palo Alto NGFW, can use dynamic objects. So if I want to use a source address and tie it to any of these EDLs that I have, I can just use that instead of a static address. So here you see I can put in one of these addresses. As these list changes, I don't have to recommit the firewall initially to commit the policy. I have to do it one time, and then after that the list will just update and sync automatically, and the policy will adjust to whatever the entries in that object are. One of the best practices that we recommend for our customers is to go ahead and use our built-in EDLs at the top of your policy in a drop fashion. So if not at the very top, towards the top of your policy, you should have a couple of rules that utilize the built-in EDLs, the high-risk and known malicious EDLs, that drop traffic from both a source perspective, where it's coming from externally in the internet, and then also from an outbound perspective, where if things on your network are trying to talk to those IP addresses in these lists, you filter those as well. So we recommend both scrubbing from an inbound and outbound fashion with our built-in EDLs, because over time they're just going to change. You don't have to alter them once this policy is committed. It's just going to update over time and block the worst of the worst out there. So for this example, I'm going to show you how to utilize some EDLs based on what's going on in the world right now, which at the current point in time is COVID-19 pandemic. Some organizations come out and put together some IOCs and different lists that you can browse that give you the IOCs associated with different attacks and campaigns themed to the COVID-19 response. So this is a perfect example of why EDLs are great, because you can just ingest this new and emerging data dynamically without having to make constant changes to your policy. You could just point a URL at your policy for your EDL, and it will go ahead and update as this EDL updates. Now, what I have here is the COVID-19 Cyber Threat Coalition's website. They also have a GitHub, so I'm just going to go ahead and, because the GitHub sites are a bit more programmatic and automated, I'm going to go ahead and focus my lists on the GitHub site. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the URL, which I just go ahead and click here. I'm going to use a domain list. I'm going to click raw because it's going to give me just the file, the flat file. I can take the URL under external dynamic lists in my firewall, say COVID-19 domain list malware. This is a domain list, COVID-19 related malware domains. I give it my URL and my certificate profile. I already have one for GitHub. Basically, I'll cover that in another video, why certificate profiles are important. But the bottom line is, if you're going to be injecting dynamic information into your firewall, you need a system to verify the source of the information as being something you trust, and that can be done via certificates and using certificate profiles. So all I have to do is create that is a domain list. Now domain lists in the Palo Alto are used inside of the anti-spyware DNS signature functionality. So I'm going to go ahead and add that domain list that I created to my DNS signature policy under my anti-spyware profile that's assigned to all of my rules that cover DNS traffic. And I'm also going to say single packet. And now I have incorporated that EDL into that policy. So now anytime anything on my system tries to query anything in that domain list, it's going to go ahead and sinkhole me. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a commit. Now that I have the config committed with the new EDL created, I can select it. Select import now. It's going to add a queue task where it will pull the list. I can look at the object now, and I should see the entries populated. I can verify that they work by trying to ping an entry on that list. I see I get the sinkhole address, and I'm getting timeouts. I know that that's the Palo Alto sinkhole address. Furthermore, if I go check the log in my firewall now, under threats, I will see I've generated a DNS sinkhole event for a suspicious domain. If I were to take a look, I can see that now I'm catching that domain in the packet capture here, 063501.com. So my domain list has taken effect, and that information that is being pulled dynamically from the website on GitHub is now being introduced into my policy automatically. So if that source address document on GitHub changes, so too will my domain list.
Thanks, Ryan, for that great explanation about EDLs, how to use them, and even some troubleshooting steps. Really appreciate that and hope someone was able to learn something from you today. As always, we welcome all questions and comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to be notified of all of our new videos coming from the live community. Thanks again and have a great day.